I am a preacher's kid. I grew up going to church from the time I can remember. Every Sunday, every Wednesday, basically every time the doors were open, I was there. Probably about the age of 6, I was sitting in a church service, and I just knew I needed to go forward. I just knew God was saying, hey, you need to become a Christian. And I honestly don't remember a whole lot because I was young. I just remember I wanted to follow God. So I don't have some grandiose story of rebelling. A lot of preachers' kids you hear rebel and do that kind of a thing. I just always wanted to be obedient. About the age of 12, my entire world came crashing down. My dad had noticed a lump in his throat and had talked to his diabetes doctor about it. And so my parents sat my 2 younger siblings and I down and said basically that they were going to go get it checked out. Fast forward a few days, and they call us up. We were staying with some church members. We didn't have any family close by. And they let us know that the lump ended up being cancer. And not just cancer, but a very rare form that at the time only 10% of males in the world ever get. And they were going to have to go to Houston at MD Anderson Cancer Center. The moment that we got the phone call that my dad really did have cancer, it really became a crisis for me, a crisis of faith, if you will, just from the standpoint of I didn't know what was going to happen. It was a complete unknown for myself and for my family, not knowing day in, day out what was going to take place, whether or not my dad was going to live or die. And so through that, I began just questioning God. Why? Why is this happening? Where do we go from here? When he came home, his voice was not the same because they actually damaged his vocal cords in the process to the point where he had just a whisper. And even at that point, there were times that we questioned, okay, God, how is Dad going to continue being able to do what you've called him to do? There were church members that when my parents were away would ask questions. There were rumors that flew. There were people that were asking when my dad was going to die, asking if he was ever going to preach again. From the moment that my dad was first diagnosed with cancer to the day he died, he was serving God. It didn't matter what capacity he was in. He ended up continuing to be a preacher for another 4 years at that church. And at that point, then, God opened up the doors for him to become a director of missions. But God took him from being a pastor to being a servant of over 40 churches. He was just that person that said, this is what God's called me to do, and I'm going to do it. And even when he passed away, just being able to see the number of people that just came out and just were like, wow. My son, who was 3, I believe, at the time of my dad's death, started asking questions about, well, where is Papa? How can I go to heaven? And he was opening up the doors then for Jackson to start seeking and asking questions. God taught me that even though I'm a planner, even though I want to have everything in a nice, neat little package, that it's not going to happen that way, and that you have to relinquish full control. It's not about me. It's not about what I want. It's about your will. I still struggle with wanting to relinquish control because I want things to maybe be a certain way at times, and God will still be, hey, this is what my will is. You remember that time when your dad had cancer and you guys just totally trusted? That's what I want you to do. I'm Andrea Dennison, and this is my story.